Bob Lutz, Wichita Eagle. At times this season, three-point shootings have been perceived as maybe not a weakness, but something this team maybe wasn't as good at as other aspects. When you shoot like this, how gratifying is that, and how much more difficult do you become to beat?
No, Bob, I think just when we're 8 for 10, and the two misses were late shot clock heaves in the first half. We were really 8 for 8, and the other two were just desperation, or we didn't execute, and we don't want to turn the ball over, so we tried a long shot. I think Ron did it once, and Takale did it once. Obviously, we didn't shoot it well at the very end. We're 1 for 10 in the second half, but there's going to be a game at some point where you don't shoot it well. That's when you've got to have your defense and rebounding in your back pocket. And when we shoot it, we always talk about when we shoot it well, we're hard to beat. And if we can shoot it like this for as long as we can continue playing, we'll be a very, very tough out.
Gregg, when's the last time you've called a timeout, and is that a good indication of just how well you guys are playing? Because you haven't called one.
That's a good question, Brian. You ask good questions. There haven't been any timeouts this year. I'm not sure we've called more than 2 all season. Bob, you would have to do some research on that. I think timeouts are a sign of weakness. I like to do my coaching before the game and in practice. Like to help them during the game, just give them a little structure, tell them what defense we're in, what out-of-bounds play we're running. And I like for my players to work out their problems, generally on their own. When I call a timeout, I don't have very much positive to say to them. So I bet we've played 33 games. I bet we haven't called 2 timeouts when we weren't I almost called a timeout today to sub and do one of those deals where you just turn it over and sub and keep playing, because I thought the guys at the end were getting tired. But no, I'm not a big proponent. Now, there are times when you need them, but thank goodness this year we haven't needed them that often.
Gregg, on Clay Anthony, his game seems to pick up when it gets the toughest. If you start counting tough road games and this tournament after last year's tournament, I mean, there's other circumstances, I realize, but he does seem to pick it up at the toughest moments. Is that what you've observed?
Yeah, he did last year. Played well in the Final Four. On the way to the Final Four, he was all whatever they call it, the all Final Four team. He made that. Did not play well here last year, but generally he plays well on the road, and away from home he plays a little better statistically. Maybe it's just focus. Maybe it's just he needs that external stimuli to get him going. Fans calling his name and his girlfriend's name and all of those things that they do on the road. So maybe that's a good thing.
Gregg, James Dent with the Sports Exchange. Missouri State was really trying to milk clock, slow the tempo. The run you had in the first half by hitting those threes, how important was that to maybe go make Missouri State chase the game a little bit and quicken the pace?
It certainly loosens them up when we're hitting shots, because they do a very good job, as many teams in our league do. They make you beat them from the outside. I mean, these are good coaches in this league, and they collapse that defense around the post. They don't let you throw it in. They don't let you drive it in. So once you start making some shots, it kind of loosens them up. Now they've got to extend their defense a little bit, and then you get closeouts which you can penetrate, and maybe passing lanes that were not there previously are there. So I think it's monumentally important.
Bruce Ertl, KWCH. Gregg, when you're rolling like you were in the first half, but even more in the second half, when you're putting the game pretty much out of reach, and your team is playing at such a high level, Missouri State has absolutely no answer for it. Do you find yourself even in that moment just every now and then saying, wow, this team can really get it going and can really be a fun group to watch?
Yeah, it's really a fun. You nailed it. It's a fun team to watch. It's a fun team to coach. It's a fun team to be around. I mean, who can find fault with 33-0? I mean, no, take that back. I know people find fault with 33-0. I don't. I enjoy it. I've enjoyed it the whole year. I've enjoyed recruiting these guys, getting to know their families, being around them. And it's just it's amazing that we're one game away from being done with the conference tournament. So it seems like this season has just flashed by in an instant, maybe 4 weeks instead of 3.5 months.
Left-hand side, Greg.
Hey, Greg, Pat 40 from Yahoo. Same question, I guess, for you that I asked the players about wanting to win a tournament that you all haven't won, and maybe the importance of that for y'all.
I want to win very badly, but I would want to beat you in cards if we dealt them tonight. So that's just the way I'm wired. I want to win this tournament. I want to win when I tee it up in a charity golf tournament this summer. But there is special meaning to winning this tournament, because chances are we could be back here in about 11 days. So may as well get used to it. As I said yesterday, I've had some good experiences in St. Louis lately. We went to the Billikens and won against a very tough team in their home court, which at that point they were rarely losing at all there. And then I came for Game 4 of the World Series and had a beautiful afternoon. Had a great steak, went over and watched the game, and then Johnny Gomes hit a 3-run homer for my team. So it was nice. We enjoyed St. Louis immensely.
This question is from the podium, past the lights.
Jason Penske from NBC2 in Terre Haute. I know, Coach, you don't know who you're going to play all the way in the back. I know you don't know who you're going to play yet. Could you just talk about the challenge Jake Odom and the Sycamores would give you if you face them tomorrow?
Yeah, Jake's a tremendous player. He's one of the greatest players, probably in the top 5 in Indiana State history. I mean, we know who number 1 is, so being number 2 or 3 or 4, whatever he is wonderful. And he does a great job of doing exactly what Fred VanVleet does now. He orchestrates the game. I mean, when he's in control, and everybody else is just watching him orchestrate the game. And he did it as a freshman, and he's continued that throughout his career.
We're under 3 minutes to go, and next question's here on the left.
Bill Frieder, Westwood 1. Coach, how you doing?
Hello, Coach.
When you played St. Louis earlier and Tennessee and some of them, and won some key road games, I started telling people that you were better than a year ago. And I know you lost some key components, Armstead, Hall, whoever. Why or what makes you better this year than a year ago?
It's amazing guys like you who obviously know the game very, very well, and Coach Knight, who was at our practice and at our games. They say the same thing, but there's those skeptics and naysayers that are out there that don't know a hill of beans about college basketball, that are saying, their schedule and who they played and this and that. I think you just have to watch and know what you're talking about. But I think it's the fact that we defend every possession. We play both ends. We really commit to defense and rebounding. And then we score it much better than we did last year's group. This group can score. This group has, people at the beginning of the year were playing off to Kel Cotton. They were trying to pick up their poison, and they weren't guarding him. Well, in the last couple of games, I think he was 3 for 4 or 2 for 4 or 3 for 5 yesterday from 3 and 3 for 4 today. So I hope they continue to not guard him. We've got a lot of weapons. Clee Anthony's obviously special. Fred orchestrates the game and can get to the rim and generally makes the right decision. And Ron Baker, he's kind of an X factor. He's not even up here. I think he will one day play in the NBA. So it's a pretty special group.
Final question is right here on the aisle.
How did you get to be a Red Sox fan?
My dad, living in South Carolina, Walter Marshall. When you're growing up in the 30s and 40s in South Carolina, there were no Orioles or Marlins or Braves, so you had to pick a team on the East Coast, and you either picked the Yankees or the Phillies, I guess, or the Red Sox. And he went with the Red Sox for whatever reason. I remember him talking about Johnny Pesky and Dom DiMaggio and Ted Williams and whatnot when I was a kid. He also liked the Celtics, and his team on the football side was the Redskins. So contrary to what my son did, he went the opposite. He picked my rival teams. I went with my dad's teams. A couple things. Number one, house cleaning. There's a nail right here that ripped my coat yesterday that we need to fix. I hope I'm here tomorrow. And secondly, it's Tequil. He's going to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated for the second time in 3 weeks. It's not tequil, it's Tequil, like the vegetable cotton. Thank you.